because this is where he started his ministry. And now what does it mean, ministry? This is when he started to teach. Do you know how long that Jesus taught Dakota and Jacob? Boy, thank you guys. I'm sure you guys are talking exactly about what I'm talking about, but let's focus right here. Jesus started his ministry. Do you know how long it lasted? You'd say 30 years, 20 years, 10 years? Adult class, how long was it? 3 years. 3 years. But Jesus' ministry was prophesied in the Old Testament. And it said that he would come and he would do miracles and he would forgive sins and he would raise people from the dead and the blind would see and the deaf would hear. Is that what Jesus did? Yeah. Was Jesus limited by the laws of nature? Can you walk on water, Sawyer? No, me either. Have you ever tried? I remember my grandma and grandpa lived on a lake, and we would start off in the yard, and we would, oh, and man, we must have been this close to running on water. No. No. Do you ever see the lizards? Those lizards that run on water? And they kind of do this? I wonder if we looked like that. But Jesus walked on water. You know what? It wasn't on a swimming pool either, or a nice still lake. It was during a storm when waves were crashing, and there were people in the boats, the disciples, going, ah! Jesus comes on out, walks right to him. Jesus wasn't limited by the powers or by the laws of nature. And amazing. You know, but he had to do that. And those miracles are what set him apart. Because you know what? There are people who say that, you know, they say that Jesus, he was a good teacher. He was a good teacher and he was a good man. But what did we learn yesterday? He's fully human and fully, he has to be both. He has to be both. That's the miracle. That's the wonder.
How I think he does it is just putting the God, like one of his halves to one of his full, like God into like the universe.
You know what? He's not limited by the universe, is he? He sure could. I can't say he couldn't do that because God created the universe, so he can do anything he wants. Kind of like when you draw a picture. You can do anything you want to that picture, can't you? Well, when God created everything is kind of like a picture, and he could do it. So, whew, sometimes it makes, I'm kind of like Dalton Clyde, like, I think my brain's going to burst, Nettie Zelma. All right. Well, where did we leave off with our play last night? What happened? No, not last night. No snake last night. What happened? A duck. Oh, Flora Ellen. Flora Ellen wasn't a duck. Ducks don't cluck. Ducks don't cluck. Yeah, Flora Ellen was a chicken. There was a chicken, huh? Did you see Nettie Zelma and Dalton Clyde's disguise? Think they tricked the marshal? Well, they sure did, didn't they? Well, let's see what happens. Who's the one that seems to be showing the most interest in learning about Jesus right now? Out of the two. Dalton, right? Yeah, Dalton Clyde. Use his name right. Dalton Clyde. Yeah, he does. And, you know, it's kind of fun. You know, like I said, you know, the play is for fun, but there's a lot of truths in that play. You guys are going to come into contact with people that don't know about Jesus. And it may be days, it may be weeks, it may be months that you have an opportunity to talk to them and share with them. But don't be afraid to do it. We'll get to see the Reverend and Vera. Man, they're pretty brave in sharing their faith. So, All right, if my actors and actresses need to get into their places, why don't you go ahead and do that? I'll take this mic off.
A child is born, unto us a child is born, and the government will be upon his shoulder.
Reverend, is there anything you don't do around here?
I'm sorry you had to hear that. Well, the schoolhouse was looking just a little bit rough around the edges, and I just thought it'd be nice to clean it up a little bit for our new teacher.
That's a good idea. Say, did that rattlesnake ever turn up?
Why, yes. We found Dalton right over there by the jail. Just right over there.
By the jail, huh?
Yep.
I guess I'm going to have to be a little more careful every time I go by that.
So, how's your search for the bandits going?
Well, I ain't found them yet, but I know they're here. I can feel it in my bones.
And the only thing I can feel in my bones are ache and pain.
Well, I better get back to work. Them criminals ain't going to find themselves.
All right, Marshal. It's good to see you. Now, there were also many other things that Jesus did. Were they all to be written? I suppose even the world itself could not contain all the books that would be written. John chapter 21, verse 25.
Knew I'd find you out here painting and working on your memory verses.
Yeah, I thought I'd get up early to beat the heat.
Good idea. I brought you some muffins, by the way.
Oh, Vera, thanks. So, have you heard if the new teacher's arrived yet? Oh, what was her name? Miss Greeny?
Winnie Griggs. Actually,
Griggs.
she arrived yesterday, all the way from Kentucky. You know, I think those kids are going to love her.
I sure hope so. A good teacher is worth her weight in gold.
I agree. We could just find a sheriff.
Yeah. Well, luckily the marshal's here. I just hope he stays for the whole jamboree. Say, where are our two guests at?
I haven't seen them. They must have gotten up early.
Boy, I was sure hoping they'd help me with the chores. There's still some work that needs to be done here.
I could go look for them.
Could you?
Yeah, sure.
Why, that would be great. You know what they say, many hands make the work light.
I'll go look for them.
Huh. Well, I suppose that's pretty good. Well, I guess I better check the back door.
Yeah, could sure use one of them tall glasses of lemonade right now.
Now, where could they be?
What'd you say?
Huh? Did you say something?
Never mind. You know, it may surprise you, Nettie Zelma, but I do think about stuff sometimes. You know, like, do dogs lick us because they think there's bones inside of us? Or like, how does a sponge hold water with so many holes inside? I guess we'll reckon never know. Hey, you want to hear a joke? All right. Here it goes. Why do cowboys ride horses? You give up? I would too. It's because they're too heavy to carry.
Hush up, Dalton Clyde.
All right, all right.
Oh, will you quit that? Can't you see I'm trying to focus?
All right, man. Can you tell us why we're out in the middle of nowhere, walking around aimlessly? I know it ain't for exercise because this man is shredded.
I hid some tools out here that way, and I'm just trying to remember where I hid them, that's all. Oh, I recognize this place. Ah, there they are.
Now, when did you get the time to come out here and hide some tools? Lockpicks. Crowbar.
One more thing.
Dynamite. Hey, this ain't tools for chores, there's tools for thieving.
What's so surprising about that? We're thieves, remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do this. We shook on it with the Reverend. We made a gentleman's accord.
No, we did not. I stopped that cockamamie handshake before you could even begin. We didn't break no oaths because we didn't make no oaths.
But
You
we
will
can't.
thank me later.
We can't betray him. He's been nothing but nice to us.
Of course he has. He's a reverend.
Yeah. Well, you heard what he said the other day. He's suspicious about us, and here you are proving him right.
Oh, I knew you'd be hard-nosed about this, which is why you gotta let me do the thinking, Dalton Clyde. Everyone is gonna be at that jamboree tomorrow, and that's gonna leave the bank unguarded because Wonder Junction ain't got no sheriff. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. We can't just pass it up.
But what about the marshal?
I ain't scared of him.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Listen, if we can pull this off, it can be our final heist. Then we can retire and, I don't know, maybe settle down somewhere. Pleasant. Maybe like a park. I promise.
Yeah, well, I wish I could believe that.
Morning, folks. Seems like you were doing a little bit of arguing out here.
Duh. No, that's just our annual verbal sparring with my sister.
Uh-huh. So, what you got there?
Oh, nothing. That's just tools. Right, Dalton Clyde?
Yeah, those are tools.
Tools for what?
It's just like...
There you are. I have been looking all over town for the two of you.
Good to see you, Miss Vera. How can we help you?
Well, Pa needs these two to do some chores in the schoolhouse, getting it ready for the new teacher.
Chores!
Yeah, you're right. Sure, that's what those are for.
You see. Well, we got a trusty hammer for hammering things. We got a crowbar for prying shingles off the roof. And then we got a stick of, well...
That sure looks like a stick of dynamite to me, son.
Right you are, Marshall. It's for blowing up the junk pile. You know when it gets so big and you gotta get rid of it somehow. At least that's how we do things where we're from.
Well, I don't think those were quite the sort of chores we had in mind, but anyway. Marshall, would you mind excusing the siblings?
That's all right, Miss Vera. I know your pa's real busy right now, so
Thanks, Marshall.
I got my eyes on you two.
Well, miss, you done squirreled us out of a very sticky situation there. I don't know what the marshal wanted, but it looked like he was going to bust us for something.
And would the marshal have a reason to bust you for something? Were you doing something you weren't supposed supposed to be doing?
Well, not exactly.
Listen, I don't know y'all very well or what your lives are like outside of Wonder Junction. But I know that when I'm tempted to do something wrong, I think of Jesus. And I love him and therefore want to serve him and do the right things.
We're talking about Jesus, that boy we were talking about yesterday.
Yes, but of course he didn't stay a boy. He became a man and then a preacher and began an amazing ministry when he was around 30 years old. That's how old y'all are, right?
A woman never tells her age.
Okay. Well, during his ministry, Jesus did many signs and wonders that amazed everyone around him. Even his words were a wonder. After all, he's the one who spoke the universe into existence. And he wanted everyone to know one thing. There's one God, a God of love and holiness and power.
You know, I bet Jesus, being God and all, could do some mighty powerful things.
He could. He healed the sick and cured the blind. He even raised people from the dead, including himself.
How'd he do that? Some kind of trick?
No trick, just God's power. In fact, he even had power over nature. He calmed a storm with one word. He walked on water. He fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, with food left over.
Well, that's incredible.
It is. But the power I most like to talk about is the power of forgiveness. When we do something wrong, God has the power to forgive us for what we did, if we want him to. Now that's a wonder.
It sure is. Thank you.
Well, I think we've been here long enough, but I hope I gave you something to think about. Let's head in.
I got a rain-in, don't-clad. All this talking is putting ideas in his head that is distracting him from our real objective. Why'd we have to meet a reverend?
What's going on out here? Dakota? You're bringing sticks of dynamite to BB. Oh, I don't know. We better put it in this.
No, we didn't.
We better put it in here where it's safe.
Did I see it? The play.
Oh, it's a play?
Yeah, it was from the play.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Mine doesn't even have dynamite.
You know, Dakota doesn't have dynamite? Oh, well, that proves he's innocent then, for sure. Is that true? Dakota doesn't have dynamite? Cap guns. Yeah, that doesn't qualify as dynamite. Okay, I guess you're innocent. It's not yours. But I'm going to keep my eye on you. Hey, you know what? Yesterday we talked about Jesus. And we were talking about how he never, ever, ever did anything wrong. Now, because he's all God and all man, he was able to do that. You know, when we live our lives, we often look at Jesus and we say, oh, I could never, ever be like that. And you know what? It's true. You can't. You know, if you've sinned one time, that means you've broken God's law. And once it's broken, no amount of good that you do can ever put it back together again. You cannot. I cannot. Pastor Jeremy, he's a pastor of the church, and he can't do it either. The only person that can put that law back together is the one who fulfilled it by being perfect. Who is that? Jesus. You know, listen, I'm giving you guys a little bit of a hint why Jesus is so important to me as a Christian, why he's so important to you if you want to be a Christian. You know, Vera said something. She said, you know, sometimes when I'm tempted to do the wrong thing, I think about what Jesus would have done. Well, you know, that's a good thing. But what happens when you've already done the wrong thing? Because that's a sin, right? And sinning is how we break God's law. You know what? That's when we also get to remember that Jesus, being all God, died on the cross for our sins. And he's the one. Hey, Drea. Whew. Listen for just a couple minutes. That's why we need Jesus, because he did it perfectly, because we can't. And we're going to talk about that even more this week, but think about that. Jesus is our example. We can never live up to that example. We've already broken it. Who's the youngest one here? George. George's not talking much right now. He's just a little guy. George has already broken the law. No matter what good he's done, he can't put it back together again. Who's the oldest one here? Oh, we don't know. They've broken the law lots of times, and they have put their faith in Jesus, and they put their trust in him. And and God's word tells us all about that, and that's what we're studying this week. Guys, thank you for having fun with me on day 3. Now, Tina wanted me to remind her that she needs to give you guys bookmarks, so don't leave yet, all right? Now, Sawyer and Logan, you guys, there we go. You guys didn't get VBS wristbands yesterday. If you want one, we've got some for you with some bookmarks, okay? They're yours if you want it. So, and adults, like I said before, if you want one, then you can have one too. So, also, if you want your face taken in a wanted poster, we can even do that for you. Because we're all sinners, right? We're all sinners in need of forgiveness. We got to admit it. We're wanted. But the nice thing is we're wanted by God. He wants to forgive us. But we got to acknowledge that we are wanted and we are in need of forgiveness. So, all right. You guys made pinwheels today. I believe I saw Quaid running around with a propeller. And then he went by me and made this sound, and I think I had arm hair missing. So, don't forget your crafts. I believe, are they sitting right back there? Caslin's pointing at them. Some of you guys spent a lot of time making those. I saw you guys were even coloring both sides of the paper. So impressive. Some of you big kids. Wow. So don't forget your crafts. And then you know what? We have VBS again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 6:30. Now I want to remind you, on Sunday, we do have Vacation Bible School, but it's not at 6:30. It's at 1 p.m., okay? Right after church, and you can come to the barbecue if you want. You don't necessarily have to come to church to go to the barbecue. But if you do come to church, we're going to sing our VBS songs for other people from our church that didn't get to hear it. Then there's going to be a barbecue, and I hear there's going to be hot dogs and potato salad. And I think, did I hear some chili to maybe put on the hot dogs? So if you like to put chili on your hot dogs, woo! Boy, there might be some happy tummies for VBS. So VBS will be from 1 to 3. All right? 3:30. Yeah, 3:30. Kind of like we get done at 8:30, kind of 9. So, unfortunately. But, all right. I am looking for that class that's sitting nice and still. And I know you might be getting kind of tired. So make sure, don't be grumpy with your mom and dad. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble and they might not let you come back to VBS. Because that can be a punishment sometimes. Whoa. Give me a smile. All right, Tina's class gets to go first. But don't leave because she's got your bookmark.